so it ended. A tale that began with my own ill-fated attempt to rid the world of the Godworker. A new divine rose, a true heir to the Seven, more powerful than ever, and united Rivellon in its battle against the Void. All across the realm he was loved, worshipped and adored. Humans, lizards, elves and dwarves all rallied to his banner. The Great Allegiance stood once more, but the war continued. From the depths of the Void, the God King still sought to return. As for me, I was freed of the God King's terrible tyranny. I avoided an eternity of pain and suffering. Now I fight for the other side. Now, I fight for the divine.
Well, well. Look what the cat dragged in.
He smiles at you.
You've done us proud. You saved the world. We all knew only one of us could. I'm glad it was you. Home, if it... After all, I've dragons to raise. I do so long to see my palace, to sit all day in perfumed but above all, I long to be with... but remember how when we first met, I took... Is that so? Had you partaken in my little questioning? Still, I'm nothing if not a tolerant man who believes in individual growth. What say you? Well, only the best for the Red Prince.
There's nothing interesting down there. The future lies above, not below.
You escaped an abominable prison and confronted the... Not that your story is finished, of course. Your divinity shines upon all who walk Rivellon. Now that I am clear of mind and free of... Once I've come to a conclusion. As a matter, Source makes for an excellent ally in matters of whether you are clever enough of a divine to keep Damien's disciples confined to Nemet until we...
Malady stands tall and proud.
Well, here we are again. You, me, get an eyeful, Your Holiness.
She turns to you.
Look at you. Magnificent. Actually, except for one.
She fingers the mask covering her face.
We've come a long way together. Soon, but relax, enjoy. I certainly plan to... Oh, I don't know. And when the time comes... Don't be a str...
Well, if it isn't the new divine...
The Tarquins...
I didn't come all this way to show deference. Some friendly advice. All who rise are capable of falling. Gods, the divine, anyone. Remember where you came from. The last thing this world needs is more tyrants. Is the question, isn't it? No, of course you wouldn't. is a written language, unreadable to most, but myself naturally. It comes from a mysterious race from another world, beings that feed on minds. I intend to seek them out. This Gustafjan seems to guard portal.
Oh my, you! Look who it is!
She curtsies low.
So, what's your first order of business? I don't know if anyone's free of anything, but I'm bloody thrilled to be here now. Just me. Well, yeah, I'm not.
She winks.
So? Come on, don't keep me in suspense. What are you gonna do? Big job. I don't forget loot. Play loot. So, Chief, I guess this is it. Don't speak too soon. You're a god now, after all. Soon enough, you'll let me know if you see any falling boulders.
As she turns from you, the whites of her eyes suddenly is...
See you around. I was hoping you'd come find us again. I've never known a god before they became to...
She gives you a long, assessing...
Really?
She paces around.
Well, you certainly look. Don't you feel it? Maybe you should give it a bit of time. Let's do good.
The new Divine. That's so cool. What's it like? Well, just leave my stuff. There's also the matter of my pay.
He taps his fingers and mouths.
1,300,000 dozen and 50 gold pieces. Now pay up. Oh yeah? What's that?
Han ponders.
Okay. I love being all sneaky and shh.
I've never been fond of what the Divine stands for, but I must say, reform my ways.
Her eyes flick down to your her mouth meets yours and devours you with predatory abandon.
Something to remember me by. Who knows? A nice cottage, but a girl needs some.
Amazing, I'm still... Well, you're so much like him. My instincts tell...
Gareth beams. For the first...
A friend!
For a moment, his mind wanders to memories of friends and...
Friends. I find a way to fit. I wasn't just content to... So I find out. My goal...
As much pleasure to speak to you. I will always be an ally to you. I am at the ready.
You look out to the endless beyond. The sun's light, and with a start, you realize where you must go next. War raged on. Arx remained the center of power as the races united behind the Divine. But the Voidwoken attacks continued as they did elsewhere. Arx would see many more long years of war. The ancient empire of lizards became one of the pillars of the new Divine Alliance. The houses of war and of shadows were particularly useful in the fight against the God King. The empire used the war to expand its territory. Justinia returned to her throne. Under her rule, the Dwarven kingdom fought for the Divine, and her loyalty was unquestionable. Many fine and courageous dwarves did their people great honor, in battle and in death. With Lucian gone, the elves reluctantly rejoined the Divine Alliance. Their place in the war on the Void would entirely depend on the integrity of the new Divine. And on the integrity of the elven Godwoken who did not ascend. And here and there, across the world, what was left of the Black Ring fought on. The island of Fort Joy remained a sorcerer's paradise, a place of exile for those whose sorcery threatened to bring in the Void. For their well-being, its residents depended entirely on the benevolence of the new Divine. Reaper's Coast struggled on. The farms and the fisheries fought to feed the people against the Voidwoken blight. The black pits took fire. The oil there burns still. Driftwood teetered on the edge of starvation until the night the Voidwoken came from the sea. All were killed. This did, however, put an end to the famine. The nameless isle had vanished. Although only open water remained, by instinct ships would steer clear. None of the captains could articulate why. Arks battled on. Sir Gareth thanked the surviving Seekers for their service and gave them their freedom. Disillusioned with ongoing war, he set out alone to find a new purpose. He would never stop seeking. Young Han grew up a warrior and became one of the Alliance's greatest generals. But even he could not win the war. Almira and Mihaili settled in an abandoned homestead. The locals liked and respected Almira. She never wanted for help, and deals always fell to her favor. Outsiders were often suspicious, but no local would speak against her. With a new Divine at the helm, Malady had a powerful ally, but she was in no hurry to call in her favor. After all, it might be the last thing she ever did. Having performed the greatest act of necromancy in history, Tarquin found the new world unchallenging. He became obsessed with rumors of another plane of existence. One day he vanished and was never seen again. Ahu the Wizard served the new Divine with honor, wisdom, and an at times unnerving feline elegance. The undead priestess Gratiana remained in her sanctuary, happy to wait for the war to pass. She was troubled only by the silence of her goddess. Jehan the demon hunter never stopped hunting for demons. Sahala sought to strengthen the Elven alliance with the new Divine. Her powers of sight proved useful in the ongoing war against the Void, but she could never be sure that the new Divine trusted her. As the new mother, Sabine found a great forest and founded a new elven homeland. Elves flocked to her and worshipped her as a goddess. Sabine swore never to kill again, but once in a while she'd look at her needle and smile. On his return to the Empire, the Red Prince was hailed a hero. He married Sada, and they had many more dragons. Soon, the prince became the Emperor. Faced with dragons, the Void did not gain the upper hand in the Empire. Lohse returned to her music and enjoyed a storied career as the Divine's premier musician. Dark moods would still overtake her, and she would spend long hours walking in the wilds, she always returned with a new song. And then there was you. For how much of this do you take credit or blame? And what kind of divine were you as the world battled on? Did you show mercy or strength? Did you sacrifice others as Lucian had done? Did you regret becoming divine? Should you have given your soul and sealed the veil? Only you know the truth, you and one other, for the God King still calls your name. Do you answer? Only you know if you atone for your sins.
so it ended. A tale that began with my own ill-fated attempt to rid the world of the Godwoman. When the dust settled, no new divine had risen. Instead, all Source was released into the world for all the people and every creature to share. Everyone was now a sorcerer. And united, the peoples of Rivellon pushed back the God King into the very depths of the void. This ushered in a new golden age of peace and prosperity. But alas, it was not to last. With many greedy for wealth, power and position, the struggle soon began anew. Source, the very language of creation, was used in violence once more. The never-ending contest for power continued. As for me, I was freed of the tyranny of the God King. To atone for my sins in this world, I spent the rest of my days taking care of the sick and elderly. I would tell the story of the Godwoken to anyone who would listen. The story of the greatest heroes Rivellon had ever known. The heroes who chose not to close the veil.
Well, look what the cat dragged in. A Godwoken. But what good is it to be Godwoke? Don't fool yourself. In the absence of a master, as long as there is power, there is conflict. Source for all. In that sense, I suppose I should look upon it all as an opportunity. People crave authority. Please. I'm not...
Besides, which...
But come. We've travelled too long by one another's side. We'll not part on bad terms. We'll home. After all, I've dragons to... There may be an accident. I do so long to see my palace. To sit all day in perfumed shade and watch the white of the marble change with the journey of the sun. But above all, I long to be with Sadher. Long to finally have the tide... but before you... Remember how when we first met, I took you by the jaw a while? Not... Had you passed still, I'm not... What say you? Well, that's settled. You're very welcome to my house indeed. My boots are not going to clean...
Prepare yourself.
malady stands tall.
Well, here we are again. Get an eyeful. I have a loss of plan.
She drums her finger.
All that work, all that effort, tossed into the gutter like you say that now. Let's see how you feel when... Never mind.
She fingers the mask, covering her face. For a moment, it seems as though she's about to remove it.
We've come a long way together. I did my best.
She looks you.
I guess take a moment, relax, enjoy. I certainly plan to do this until we find. Don't you have?
Hey there, Chief. So, a world full of sorcerers. I suppose that's a death sentence, though I guess it wasn't all bad. I met you after all. And look at everything. I don't know if but I'm bloody get loot. So, Chief, you say that now. But who knows whatever it is.
As she turns from you,
See you.
So, here a bit boring. Then again, I suppose they can't fit all of us in Fort Joy. We've come to the brink and back again so many times on this adventure. Even though I love the rain, let's do good. Both of us. It gives me almost as much pleasure to speak to you as it does. I will always be an ally.
you look up, and with a start, the world was at peace, at least for now. With its significance as the seat of divinity diminished, Arx fell into decline, and within 7 generations had emptied. Few were as prepared for the new world as the lizardkin of the ancient empire. With power spread equally throughout the world, the advantage lay with those who knew how to steal it, and at this the lizards excelled. Justinia returned to her throne. Under her rule, the Dwarven kingdom prospered, until 2 years later a jealous lover stabbed her in the heart with a mutton fork. With their power returned, the elves reclaimed their lands from the death fog and began to rebuild. Soon they would split as 2 factions sought power, one to bring back the trees, the other to bring back the scions. A dwarven joke did the rounds. It ends with the punchline, "So Lucian dropped the death fog on them again." Only Sabine could bring the elves together once more. And in a dark forest on the far side of a desert, well beyond the high seas, the Black Ring came together once more. The island of Fort Joy, the old redoubt of the Source King Brachus Rex, was turned over to the people of Driftwood to use as they wished. They turned it into a holiday resort. Reaper's Coast prospered. The fisheries returned, and the fertile farmlands produced the greatest harvests the surviving farmers had ever seen. Blood Moon Island became particularly fecund, its soil producing the greatest crops. A particularly crimson-fleshed orange grown on the island became a delicacy across half the world. The black pits took fire. The oil there burns still. Driftwood became a centre of industry, trade, and transport. Your lizard lover from the Black Bull Tavern finally returned to the ancient lizard empire. there to found the newest and most popular of all the houses, the House of Love. After a long and harrowing journey, Lovric the Waiter arrived in Sicile, where he opened a tavern. The meaty stew became famed almost as much for its food as it was for its greasy, abusive owner. Lagan left his over-demanding wife and began a relationship with a local bard. In the spirit of loving generosity, he returned the ring to his now ex-wife. In a fit of rage, she threw it into the sea. The nameless isle had vanished. Although only open water remained, by instinct ships would steer clear. None of the captains could articulate why. Millennia later, adventurers would come in search of the legendary divine city of Arx and the crypt of the great Lucian. None would pass the path of blood. Sir Gareth thanked the surviving Seekers for their service and gave them their freedom. Disillusioned with the rising chaos, he set out alone to find a new purpose. He would never stop seeking. Young Han went into the theatre and became one of the realm's most popular actors. Almira and Mihaili settled in an abandoned homestead. The locals liked and respected Almira. She never wanted for help, and deals always fell to her favor. Outsiders were often suspicious, but no local would speak against her. With no new divine, Malady found herself in a predicament. She had an important problem to solve, but no ally strong enough to call upon, and so her search continued. Having performed the greatest act of necromancy in history, Tarquin found the new world unchallenging. He became obsessed with rumors of another plane of existence. One day he vanished and was never seen again. With the source released to the world, Ahu the wizard spent more and more time as a cat. One day he decided he would not change back. With Amadia silent, the priestess Gratiana left the swamps and re-entered the world. With more undead than ever before, she founded an abbey in the Dragonspine Mountains, offering them shelter from hatred and fear. Jehan the demon hunter found himself at a loose end, so he opened a museum of demonic artifacts. After it burned down, with Jehan inside, witnesses claimed that the flames were the color of blood. As the forests grew anew, and the elves were equals at last, Sahala shared elven knowledge of the source with the world. But some elves disagreed and plotted against her. The mother would have to choose sides. As the new mother, Sabine found a great forest and founded a new elven homeland. Elves flocked to her and worshipped her as a goddess. Sabine swore never to kill again, but once in a while she'd look at her needle and smile. The Red Prince came home a hero. With Sada, he had more dragons. Soon, Prince became Emperor, one who would not use his dragons for conquest. His realm knew peace, and the world did not burn. Losa returned to her music and enjoyed a storied career as Rivellon's premier musician. Dark moods would at times overtake her, and she would spend long hours walking in the wilds. She always returned with a new song. And then there was you. You returned to the world a sorcerer among many. Your future was yours to decide. Did you accept your new status with humility? Only you know the truth, you and one other. But of him you are free. The God King no longer calls your name. He no longer whispers your shame. Only you know if you atone for your sins.